Hello and welcome to another one of these, I guess, me playing around in Xenoverse videos. In this video, I would like to cover what are iconic grinding quests for when I first started playing this. And the first one we're going to cover is, I guess, the late game grinding quest, and it's the only one in parallel quests. It's this one, PQ53. It involves Broly and 3 Dragon Balls, but it's very easy to complete. In this one, all you have to do is gather the Dragon Balls, and Broly shows up late. As soon as he shows up, you also get Videl fighting Broly, so all you have to do is grab the 3 Dragon Balls in the same arena to complete the mission for a large amount of EXP as well as money. So if you're grinding for either of those, this is a good quest to go on. Other things I like to talk about is, I guess, other builds that are similar to my strike builds that I know of, and how they perform compared to mine and why I chose mine. But first, let's do this quest. The Broly does show up when you first pick up a Dragon Ball, so you know he shows up right now.
I will kill you.
But then Videl shows up and screens for you.
I'm Hercule's daughter. I will accept any
So
challenge
basically, you can
from
finish this
anyone.
quest very, very quickly.
Dragon Ball has been sent. Please get any remaining Dragon Balls.
What are you doing? Now I'm mad.
Another thing to mention is, I didn't actually know this when I first played it, but you can use the right analog stick, press it down to like a button, and you'll be able to zoom in and out the Dragon Raider. That makes this quest a lot easier. And you can see how fast we're able to finish and how much EXP it gives. Now, in terms of
Pretty good. That was great.
in terms of other builds, mostly the ones of interest are the Blue Hurricane build for Strike and also the Poses build. For Blue Hurricane, I basically prefer ultimates, like Ki Blast ultimates over Blue Hurricane. Now keep in mind that I don't play this for max efficiency. I play this sort of because I like the whole Dragon Ball series, and you know, I like to play one of those games. Blue Hurricane doesn't really do it for me because you need to bring your opponent to the top of the arena first in order for it to hurt a lot, and that sort of limits what you can do. And I like to have as little limits on what I can do as possible. So for me, I rather spam like Ultimate Kamehameha anywhere on the arena as opposed to try to drag the enemy to the top and then use Blue Hurricane. Its visuals also not too impressive, and Kamehameha are definitely iconic to the series, so I like to stick with that. Final Flash is also something that I first ground with because I think Vegeta shows up very early as a mentor. Now, pose builds suffer the same problem. If you do equip a pose on the same moveset, we already have 4 of them, so if you have Hyper Drain, a pose, and Max Charge, then you're left with 1 offensive move. So I don't really like that either. That's why I chose to build my strike the way that I did. Now, in terms of grinding towards that Broly quest requires you to complete this one, the Legendary Super Saiyan Saga. And that's at the end of the story. As your first build, as your first time playing, it'll be very hard to get here. So you'll need something in the story mode to sort of grind up towards it. And the first one that I use to great effect is in the Majin Buu Saga. And this is this one. This one is a good grinding spot for me, in my opinion, because it does have Gotenks to again screen Buu, so you can charge up, you can go Super Saiyan, you can spam your ultimates, you can do whatever you want. Like even if you're running Strike, you probably want Super Saiyan to continue Meteor Crash or something like that. So you probably want Charge as well. Strike is not as good as Ki ultimates, but it's still nice, so Super Saiyan still helps. But yeah, he always starts locking onto you, but he'll switch soon enough.
Hurry up.
Oh, he got kicked. So you can use that to charge.
Don't overwork yourself. Leave the rest to us. Let's do it, Goten.
You see, he already drops his lock onto us. Super Buu also doesn't have super armor.
Success! Here I go, stupid Boo!
Actually, see if no. Actually, the house this time didn't let us do our combo properly. The strongest combo I know is you can use your triangle square combo and teleport behind to continue that as much as you have stamina for, and then you follow it up with your standard heavy into light into deadly dance. Basically, that's the strongest combo that I know. But this house is actually being a complete asshole right now and not letting me do anything. I locked down the Gotenks, so I guess I'm fine there. We're actually taking a beating considering how over-leveled we are.
Hey! Boo's trying to run away! After it!
And as you can see, even if you just punch him, this one gets finished pretty quickly, or pretty easily. And the final one that I used a lot to grind in the story is this one, the God of Destruction Beerus Saga. This one, you'll get Beerus as an ally against Demigod, so same reason as the previous one. Demigod does have a little bit of super armor, so I think when I used that, I ran Super Saiyan plus Final Flash, even though I had a strike build. You know, for grinding, it's even though it does less damage, safer and easier to execute. Demigod isn't punching you through your combos all the time, so yeah, that's why I chose to use. And these are basically all of the missions that I used to grind on.
You seem like an evil guy.
I still have my standard builds.
I'll be taking this person to Earth first. Lord Beerus, please be careful not to destroy things unnecessarily.
I don't know about that.
Gotta say, it's reassuring that we have God of Destruction on our side. With most Beerus backing us, Demigod won't stand a chance.
I believe I can't fight in this form. It's no matter. This battle is not even supposed to exist in history. The longer and harder we fight, the larger the distortion in the... Very well. My mission is complete.
I'm sorry. What's that?
I guess since we have a little bit of extra time, I'll cover one more. It's pretty much the only other thing that stands out in the story. I can't exactly do the story because if you start a new save, you will have your abilities from your other saves as well as equipment. So right off from level, like your level will reset, but as a level 1, you'll be able to do Super Saiyan Kamehameha. You'll be able to do Super Saiyan Final Flash, and you'll have all the moves. So that makes it a really easy time going through the story mode. I can never recreate the experience of starting it fresh, except if I delete all my saves somehow, so I won't actually bother with that. And that's why I'm showing mostly parallel quests and things that stood out to me as I play through the story. Now, the second thing is, I noticed in the previous video, I was sort of talking over the dialogue in there. I'll try not to do that as much, but this game does take a lot out of me to play in terms of like concentration. Somehow it takes more than StarCraft, which, you know, really, I'm even doing PvP, so it really doesn't make any sense, but I'll try at it. Now, you might be asking why exactly I can't notice them talking, and that's because I have my weird setup, and I just don't notice the dialogue text at the bottom, and I also don't have the volume turned up very high. This is part of my setup. So we'll see how that works.
What can you get while fighting both of us?
All right, here we go.
Can't lose this one, even if my opponent is the God of Destruction. No matter how awful the situation is, there's still hope. We can't give up. You, Goku, and everyone else. That's what you taught me.
Oh, somehow Beerus' super armor broke. Now, in this fight, it's basically the same as when we did that parallel quest in the previous video. Except this one shows up in the story, and I think it's annoying to most people because of how early it shows up. Because you can see right now, I'm not exactly struggling too much with this. It's mostly just Beerus and Whis both punching me.
Are doing against us. Delightful. Now, how about we just leave it to them?
I don't know. I never change my mind about anything.
Then what, pray tell, is the point of testing then?
Oh, be quiet. The battle isn't over yet.
Excuse me.
Give up and surrender.
Oh, he punched me. But yeah, in this one, you basically have to kill one Beerus or Whis before Trunks dies. And that's pretty difficult in the story mode, I guess, since you'll be playing at such a low level. Now, as you can see, I'm going to use an energy capsule here. It only healed me, so you can't use items to keep Trunks alive either. Which basically makes this a very difficult quest when it did show up in the story. Now, as you can see there, Beerus' super armor did grow back, but it got destroyed almost immediately. So they don't have as much super armor as they did in the parallel quest that we've done, but it's still annoying. Okay, is Whis off of me? Yeah, Whis is fighting Trunks now. Somehow Trunks is surviving one hit from Whis, which I guess in the show would be very impressive. You can see Whis has, I guess I can't really tell, but Whis generally has more super armor than Beerus, which is why I try to kill Beerus first. But since how little super armor was on Beerus, even if Whis had, like, by percentage, a large increase of super armor compared to Beerus, we still wouldn't be able to tell because, you know, if you got like 3 punches worth of super armor and you raise that by like 50%, you're up to like 4.5 punches of super armor, which is still insignificant. But yeah, basically the key to this is keeping Trunks alive, or at least dealing out enough damage to finish one of Beerus or Whis before Trunks dies.
Hey, not bad. You surprised me there.
And somehow Goku gives me a C and praises me when he, shit talks me when giving me an A. Story mode's rankings in its own is kind of weird. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in terms of the story modes. And we're gonna find out what I feel like covering next in my next Xenoverse video.
We're drawing close to the final battle with Dim.